Hi, Dale Abraham here, Golf Tips Magazine Top 25 instructor. And this tip is to help you understand the difference between being on line at the top of the backswing with the club and being across the line. What we mean is the line is our target line. So if we draw a line here right from the ball right through to our target, you can see it's basically parallel to the mat. That's our target line. And we can draw that same line over here and get that same line parallel to the mat. So at the top of our swing, when the club gets to, or if it gets to, parallel to the ground, we want it parallel to these lines. So as the club swings back, you can see it gets parallel to the target line right here, which is when it's hand height, so that's really good. As it continues up to the top, that would be great if it stopped about here, but it continues and it gets what we call across the line. So what we mean by across the line is this shaft is pointed across this target line, or either of these two parallel lines. So it's pointed too far to the right of the target at the top of the backswing. The reason this is a problem is it can cause the club to actually come down too much from inside. On a good player, if they've got some flexibility, it's going to come down too much from inside. So using a camera that most people have, we can look at it this way, which is basically just the down the line view. We draw a line right here on the club. You can see as the club goes back, it goes right back along that line for the most part, sets fairly parallel. Then at the top, it points again way off to the right of the target line. So our target line is here, same as our toe line right there. That's a line directly at our target. And you can see where that club is pointing. It's pointing well to the right of this orange pin. We're going right over the orange pin. It's pointing way over here to the right. So the reason, again, we said that's the problem is as you come down, it can start down a little too steeply here. This angle is much steeper than the original plane line. We'd like to see it at that point pretty much parallel to the plane line right there. So when it starts down steep, sometimes it gets a little too far inside the hands here, and that causes too much timing at the bottom. So the club will dip below this line a little, come a little too much from inside out, and then depending on how much you turn the hands over, it can either go right and just a little push, or you can hit some pretty good size hooks from there. So again, across the line is when the club at the top here is pointed across our target line right there, and we can go in for a view of a good one here. So this one, going back, you'll see the club points basically right here, right down the target line, or gets covered up by the hands. You can see the shaft, it's just short of parallel. When it's just short of parallel, we want it just left. As it continues, the club head gets right on the hands right there. So it's quite a bit different position, different right arm position as well. And this just makes it so much easier to start the club down in the correct plane, where this one, again, we can see it starts down much steeper. So the angle difference, not that it's really important, the exact numbers, but about a 55 or 6 degree versus about 10 degrees steeper over here on the right. So again, across a line usually tends to make you start down steep, and then depending on what you do to compensate from there. So if you can, again, at the top of the backswing, we want to see that club head right here. You can see there's the club head. It disappears right behind the hands, and that's exactly where we want it. Now, just to make a little sense, you can be short of parallel to the ground and on line, which this one is right there. So if we look at that right there, this is considered, it's definitely parallel to our target line, but it's well short of parallel to the ground. So it's across the line for the length of the swing. Because what we do is we extrapolate and we say, all right, if we continue to go back here, where would this club point? And we know it points way right, where the club head is too close to my head. It's not behind the hands enough. So hopefully this will help you get your swing plane straightened out, get the club on line at the top of the backswing, and lead to better scores.